Hello, folks. So, in this video, let's talk money, right? Um, a lot of people talk a lot of things about money, how to save, how to invest. Save as in keep the money as it is. When you invest, the principle, like if you invest $100, it's possible that you might get $120 with $20 profit, or you might actually lose $20 and might just get $80 back, wherein you lost your initial principal amount of 100. You lost some of it, and basically you have a loss of $20, right? And in savings, I think you try to keep the money as it is as much as possible and with very little profit or no profit, right? When you keep it as cash and it doesn't grow, right? It doesn't compound unless you actually invest it or save it in a bank account, right? Where they give you interest. And There is savings, there is investments, and then there is expenditure, right? So expenses. So people spend money on different things, right? People spend time, energy, effort on different things, right? So I think people have different like ideas around money and what it's worth, and for example, and how to use it, and what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. For example, I am someone who is not so much interested in jewelry, right? So I would think that buying jewelry is waste of money, right? I mean, a lot of people, of course, consider jewelry awesome, pretty cool, and they're crazy about it. And they buy it or invest in it and whatnot. For example, in India, there's this thing called digital gold. I don't know if they are in other places. And then there is gold bonds, like bonds based on gold and whatnot, right? It's called sovereign gold bond (SGB) in India. So, I mean, everyone has their own. Like, for example, some people are crazy about real estate. They buy real estate, they invest in real estate mutual funds. Some people trade money in stocks, shares basically, in stock exchanges and whatnot, using some brokerage firm or service, right? Some people just loan money to friends, family, and people that they know and get back money and whatnot, right? And people also use different services, financial services. For example, people use get loans, people get credit through credit cards, and people get credit directly from the bank and whatnot. And people have pay later options wherein they pay on a monthly basis and pay later. That is a post-paid basis, though they get the product earlier itself, and they pay over multiple months or years, right, for their house or for their like car or an automobile, say two-wheeler, for any kind of four-wheeler and whatnot. So I just wanted to talk about how everyone is different, right? Like some people might want to actually spend a lot of money on clothes and might be okay with it, or spend a lot of money on their lifestyle in general, on clothes, on mobile phones, and other electrical devices like, say, television, um, computer, tablets, basically tablets like, um, something like iPad in Apple. That's a tablet basically. Tablet is the general term. And then stuff like earphones and whatnot, and stuff like I don't know, other electrical devices, say blenders, smoothies, smoothie makers, and whatnot, and massage guns. For example, I recently bought a massage gun. Some people might want to spend on their apparels and accessories. For example, say spectacles. I mean, these are necessary spectacles for me because I cannot see far off things or far away things very clearly, so I just use it. But some people wear spectacles, glasses for aesthetic purposes, to look smart, to look good, and whatnot, right? Some people might spend on skincare products, makeup products, might spend on going to a spa, say hair spa, or just a spa, a salon. Some people might spend a lot of money on food. For example, my mom is always okay with spending a lot of money on food, right? Or spending a lot of money on the accommodation, say. your house where you live, so lease it at a higher price and have a good house, versus lease a lower priced house in a simple area and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, and then people might spend on stuff like services, like transportation services, like Uber and all. And some people might not. They might use public transportation, trains and whatnot. And then some people might spend on, say, healthy stuff and health related stuff, like say gym, fitness coach, nutritionist, or nutrition coach or whatever, right? And some people might spend a lot of money on education, and some people might just learn informally and not use through formal education, using or through colleges and courses and all that, paid courses and paid colleges and paid college courses basically, and courses outside of colleges by financial, like sorry, educational institutions, right? So people make a lot of financial decisions day in and day out these days. And um, and the thing is this, right? Everyone's idea of money is subjective. For example, I wouldn't spend on jewelry, though my mom would. And if I'm going to buy her jewelry, I would just buy it because she values it. And so she is in her 60s now. She just became 60 recently, right? My niece, she's actually 4. She's going to be 4 in a few days. For her, what is valuable is just simply a notebook or a sticker that she can stick around here and there, fancy cartoon stickers and whatnot, or crayons and stuff, or clay, right? That might cost some money, sometimes a bit too much for some people. They might be like, why does it cost so much? It's a simple pencil, it's a simple notebook and whatnot. But I still buy it actually, because for her, the value of actually going to a stationery store and actually looking at stuff and choosing and buying something for herself at the age of 4, and asking her uncle to actually buy her stuff, right? Buy her stuff that she's choosing in a store. And she also tells no to some extra stuff, right? Like when I ask her, do you want this also? And then she's like, no, no, no. Very rarely she asks multiple things or everything, right? Like for example, my nephew might just say, I want the whole stationery store. My niece might also want it, but then I don't know. But then she never says that. Instead, she just like is like, I just want one notebook, and I just want one this, one that. And you can negotiate with her in advance and ensure that she's happy with what she's asking and what you're negotiating and you're saying. Like if she says she wants chocolates or some sort of like sugary stuff or sweets and whatnot, sweet stuff, then I try to, as much as possible, reduce that, right? So that her sugar intake is less, sweet intake is less, right? Regardless of natural sugar, artificial sugar, and all that. So chocolates and whatnot, candies and whatnot. But yeah, unfortunately, they do like sugar. Like my sister, my mom, my dad, he doesn't. He's careful nowadays about his health. My nephew, niece, and all, they're crazy about sweet, right? Like chocolates, Indian sweets, or any sugary stuff and any sweet stuff, right? They have like um, what's the term? I forgot. Sweet tooth, right? So yeah. But then, so for me, though, the value of, let's say, the jewelry might be less, not for my mom, and the value of a notebook might be less, but not for my niece. And say for a friend, leasing a good house is better than staying in a hostel. But I stay in a hostel. She's always like, my friend is always like, she's like, just get a house and whatnot. And the thing is, she can't make a decision for me, though she's trying to influence me and even manipulate me. I don't know what, but I mean, it's my decision, right? For me, it's okay to stay in a hostel, though it has its own problems, like cons. It also has its own pros, right? And she can't make financial decisions for me, right? Like I decide what I can afford and what I can't afford, right? It's a very subjective thing. This is similar to how everything is subjective according to me. It's a very easy thing to say. For example, someone might say that, hey, this person is lazy, or I am lazy and whatnot. But the reality is they might not be lazy in everything, right? Depending on the situation and what you're looking at and the perspective, they might be lazy, and in some cases, they might be very active. For example, my nephew might look like he's very lazy when it comes to, say, studying some subjects, right? Some courses. And in other cases, he's very interested in doing some stuff, doing learning and whatnot. And then in playing tennis or doing yoga, he's very much interested. He's not lazy there. Like it seems like he's active. So it's just that whatever people are interested in, they'll do it properly, right? And they'll invest their time, effort, energy, and even money on it, right? So it's all subjective. It's all perspective, right? So it's kind of like selectively being lazy and then selectively being interested in stuff. Like it's your interest. You like it for some reason, you don't like it for some reason, or you just don't like it. You don't know what's the reason. Like some people say no to food and they just say no. They're like, I've tried it, I'm not interested in it for some reason, right? But it's hard to actually say that to someone and then expect them to be okay with that reason and be accept the reason, because they don't accept such reasons. People, a lot of people are like, no, there must be some reason, this tastes really good and whatnot. And if you tell some proper reason also, or like some real reason that you have but that doesn't make sense to others, again, subjectivity, perspective, they might be like, no, I don't agree, right? So yeah, I mean, um even in money, like some people might feel that some things are great to spend on. For example, my mom says it's okay to eat and stuff and spend money on food, right? And then I wonder, well, food, it goes inside your body and then you shit it out, right? But then, of course, it does some processing. Your body does some processing. You get energy out of the food. And there's a lot of entertainment tied to food, right? Like the taste of food is really good, so you basically make yourself feel good using food, because of food, through food, right? And so but compared to, let's say, you buy some item that you use on a daily basis, let's say my spectacles, my phone, right? That I buy once and I can use it for a lot of time, right? Assuming, let's say, in my phone I have to still charge my phone, so I need some electricity of some of sorts, and I need to pay for that. But other than that, the device itself, the phone itself, is actually very, very valuable and useful, compared to, say, something like food, which only gives you some temporary satisfaction, temporary good feel, mood, and whatnot. And of course, it'll give you good energy, assuming you're eating healthy food. But if it's unhealthy food, it's just going to actually cost you more in the future in medical bills, right? So, I mean, you'll probably end up going to the doctor a lot or ending up in the hospital. And for if, I mean, unfortunately, if something happens, but like, you're just feeling sick or something. I don't know. So, I mean, I would be like, well, why spend too much money on food, or I don't know. I do spend money on food these days, but only on healthy food. Healthy food usually is not that costly, at least because probably because it's not that much in demand as like not as much in demand as unhealthy junk food, right? In many cases. Anyways, and also fancy food, right? Many people spend a lot of money on fancy food, fancy stuff, expensive, luxurious stuff, and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, everyone spends money on different things, and it's a perspective, it's a subjective thing, and everyone carries different value for money and for the things that they buy. And yeah, I mean, it's you just need to accept the fact that people are different and people have different scales for worth, and look at money in different ways. Many people look at money as a tool, many people look at money as the only thing important in life and whatnot. So it all dictates the mood and everything, all of it dictates your behavior, right? It's just an interesting thing. I just wanted to talk about it. So yeah, that's all I had for this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.